welcome to another episode of Breaking Barriers, the Mental Health Podcast. I am Camila.
And I'm Lizzie, and today we have a super special guest, Cristina Pilo. She is a health coach. She's been a health coach for 4 years, and she's been a makeup artist for 15 years, and we're super excited to have her here.
Thank you, guys. Very honored to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you for coming. So today's episode is going to be a little bit of a girly episode. We want to talk a little bit about relationships, self-confidence, and how to basically boost each other up and create the self-confidence and the life that we want to have.
So, are we ready?
Super ready.
Cristina, tell the listeners how you started in this whole journey of health and wellness.
It was a personal exploration of myself. I was tired and unmotivated, and I didn't feel comfortable with my body, and I wanted more of my own life. So I just started to look online for like ways of losing weight and working out. And after I lost a bunch of weight and started to feel better, like I wanted more information. I wanted to understand what was happening and how to be a better version of myself. And that's when I decided to start actually going to school to become a health coach. It was for me first, and then in the process of becoming a health coach, I started like sharing my journey on social media, and I created like this really cool movement on my socials where people wanted to know a little bit more. So I started to, I guess, sharing my tips and tricks with my community.
I love that. Yeah, I know that we love that. We love seeing your social media,
Thank you.
Your vibe, your energy. It's so positive. It's inspirational. You're helping so many people. And I know that every time that we've been on there, and you share lots of tips and certainly a lot of information. What is like your go-to tip for all the listeners right now? Like, what would you say is one of the most important things that you do, your morning routine?
Sun. The most important thing is to look at the sun, not directly at the sun, but like to be outside in the sun before 10 in the morning, so you can coordinate your own body with the sun. You're supposed to wake up with the sun and go to bed when the sun goes down. And there's a lot of saying where people are like, oh, I'm not a morning person and I really work better at night and all that. But really your body is made to work during the day. Yeah. So I wake up naturally around 5:36 in the morning. I go outside of my room. I write in my journal.
You do a lot of journaling. I saw that.
Every day I write on my journal. Sometimes I paint because I can't, like, the words they're not working, so I just paint and let everything go and have some coffee, which, ideally you should wait at least an hour, which I don't do, but, can be perfect, and look the sunrise.
I think it's so interesting because we've had previous guests and they all say the same thing. They wake up early. They like to take some time for themselves and write down and do journaling. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I think it's a common theme. If it works to everybody, there's something.
It took me months or even years to actually start doing journaling. Like, one of those things that you have to do. Like, you have to work out. You have to drink more water. You have to, you have to eat more vegetables. But you have to do it.
Yeah. And what if you don't know what to write? Do you just say?
Yes. Sometimes I do. I write like, I don't know why I hate writing today. My hand hurts. I don't know why I'm doing this. And probably because I should get something out of my head because yesterday. And then that's when it started coming out.
In that path.
Yeah, you just have to like push it. It's like going to the gym and you don't know what to do, just go on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And start sweating and something's gonna come out.
And about the sun exposure. So you say before 10 in the morning.
Yes.
And that direct sunlight,
it's gonna help
like
you.
Vitamin D.
It's not only the vitamin D, it's also your circadian rhythm. Yeah. It's gonna help you wake up with energy. It's gonna stop the melatonin production, and it's gonna start with the cortisol production. There's a lot of talk about cortisol because it's the stress hormone, but we do need cortisol.
Correct.
So when you wake up, your cortisol should go up, so you have energy and you have like this wheel of doing things. Then the sun gives you that.
Yeah.
And then that way you can have the day to be productive and do all your things. And by the time the sun starts going down, which right now is the summer, so it's a little later, then you should also go out and see the sunset. So it sends a signal to your brain that it's time to stop. to
And it's
relax.
so true. I am one of those not morning people. It is a very hard time for me to get up early in the morning, but I do feel that when I do, I become very productive.
Yeah.
Like at some point, I do feel that energy rising.
And it's also something that you build. Like you have to get used to it. You have to make your circadian rhythm to work in your favor. So that way you're gonna go to bed really early and you're gonna have a better night's sleep. Like there's a lot of things that you can do, like make sure you don't have like really white lights, blue lights at night, only
With
yellow
the phone,
lights,
the TV has
no
to be
phone,
away.
no TV. The bedroom is only for sleeping and for intimacy, no phones in the bedroom, no TVs in the
no
nothing like
work.
that. You go to bed to sleep, and that also creates this ambience where you tell that to your brain. So by the time you go to bed, your brain knows it's time to sleep.
Absolutely.
You don't distract yourself.
Right. And I love that you said that you wake up early and that you're able to do these things. I personally am able to, well, it's not that I love waking up early, but I find that this is the time for me. I have 2 daughters, so this is my alone time between 5:30 and 6:30. I have that 1 hour where I can create content, or work out, or
Plan your
maybe
day.
plan my day. And so I love that you said that, because I think that's a very helpful tip rather, all in its own. Just go waking up early helps so much.
Yeah,
So,
just half an hour earlier than everyone else is gonna give you so much clarity during your day, and it's gonna give you, like I was used to waking up super rushed to go to school, to university, or to work, whatever. It's like I wanted to sleep the most amount of hours possible. So I have to leave at 6:30. I'm gonna wake up at 6:15. I'm gonna do everything really quick. And now I rather have an hour to wake up and have my coffee and look at the sunrise. And I rather sleep a little less and have that moment in my morning for myself than to be rushing.
Yeah.
I love that you brought up the coffee thing. I know that you have your own podcast.
Yes.
And you do cuentos y pinturas.
Pinturas y
Pinturas y
cuentos.
cuentos,
Yes.
sorry. And you're drinking your coffee. And let me ask you this, from all the people that you've interviewed, what are some of the things that you have learned with your own person and that can correlate to your personal journey?
I've learned so much from my podcast. Let me think. Well, recently I had a neuroscientist, Andres Prechel. He was really cool. He taught us a lot about sleeping. Like what I just told you about the bedroom is only for sleeping and intimacy. I heard it from him, because he's the one that taught me that you have to make relations with those things. Like once you get to the bedroom, your brain is like, okay, it's time to sleep. Yeah. So that is one of the things
You have to associate the
association. Yeah, exactly. Like you have to be able to make sure that works for that. Like it's when you go to your office, it's time to work. He wears glasses to work, even though he wears contacts. But when he's gonna work, he uses
The blue lens glasses.
no, just glasses. That way, he knows it's time to work. So he doesn't get distracted. It's like those little things that you put in your way to make sure you do your things.
Like cues for your brain, your subconscious. Like, okay, this is what we're gonna do now.
If you're gonna eat at the same time all the time, it's gonna create these routines, and routines are great.
Yeah.
Like I'm a person, I love spontaneity and doing things out of the blue and stuff like that. But truth is, you can't make that many decisions through the day. The least amount of decisions that you make, the easier your day is gonna go. So having to decide every day what you're gonna wear,
Where you're gonna eat for
what
dinner.
you're gonna eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, your workout, and what are you gonna do for your day. It's just a lot. So I one of the things that I do enjoy is like my outfits. So I do have that. But I try everything else. I try to keep a routine, so that way I don't have to be making decisions constantly.
Yeah.
And I save the decisions for other moments when they're really important.
Something that I wanted to say when we first met is my first time meeting her today, but I do a little bit of stalking in social media before we bring one of our guests, and I do have low-key a crush, because I see this beautiful community that you've created with your following. And even within your journey, a lot of us can relate, because we are going through that process of discovering ourselves, what we want to do with our own lives, and looking back like the before and after, and what you've accomplished. And I think that's something amazing. So that builds up self-confidence. And I want to touch on that. So how through your coaching, even for yourself, what have helped you build up that confidence and share other people to build that for themselves?
I think it's just sometimes we have like these big goals and they're like so big and so hard to attain that they're scary. But if you separate your big goals into tiny little steps and then you go after one on the other, you can look back and see, okay, if I was able to get all the way here, why not all the way there?
Right.
I always bring the example of buying a house. If you want to buy a house and they tell you a house is, I don't know, $800,000, and you tell me I want to buy a house today, it's scary. How am I going to get that money?
Right.
But the first thing you have to do is call a broker and they're going to tell you, give me your last 3 bank statements. That's not scary. You can totally do that.
Right.
So you go to the bank, you give the statements, and then you don't have to do anything for a week. And then a week later, they're going to tell you, okay, we have to work on your credit score. What do I have to do? Oh, you have to pay this credit card. You can take 6 months to pay your credit card. But it's just little steps towards
Small
that
step.
bigger
Isn't
goal.
that interesting?
Yeah.
We've heard this. We recently interviewed someone else on one of our episodes, and he talked about making small changes. Those small changes that you make every day
Yeah.
will amount to a big change. And there's a really good book. It's called Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Of course.
It's an amazing book for all our listeners, and I would definitely recommend that you listen to it if you have Audible, or you can read it, whatever you choose to do. But that book is amazing. It's called Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's all about implementing
little things.
Yep.
Especially because, again, if you want to lose weight, most people are like, okay, from tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to run for an hour and then I'm going to do weights and I'm going to cut carbs and I'm going to drink more water. And it's like, by 10 in the morning, you're like exhausted and probably hungry and in a bad mood. But if you start by, I'm going to walk 10 minutes every day.
And the discipline.
And then for 15 days, you walk 10 minutes every day. And then after that, you
Create
decide
the habit.
I'm going to involve more, vegetables in every meal. Great. And then the next 15 days, you do something different. So you have to find little things that you can change, that they're sustainable. Because if they're not sustainable, you're just going to go back to the way you were living before.
Right.
Cristina, we were just talking about your social media and how we were on it and we got very inspired by your message. But I have to imagine that it's got to be hard being such a public person. You have 500,000 followers on your social media. I'm sure that people are more judgmental than they should be. How do you deal with that?
It's hard. It depends on the day. Some days I freak out, I block people, I cry, I get upset. And some other days I feel better and I'm like, hey, you shouldn't be saying that. Like, you don't know, the power of your words. You could make my day hard. Like, it really depends on the day, but it is hard to be a public persona. People, it's not that they have opinions, because everyone is entitled to their own opinion. It's that they think I care about their opinion. And I don't. And that's not, don't bring me your opinion, because there's a reason why I'm doing my things and you don't know me, you don't know where I come from. And even though I do share a lot of my life, there's also a lot that I don't share and you haven't walked my path. So it's hard. I've been on social media for a long time. I want to say probably 8 years now. And I used to share a lot more from my day-to-day and my life and everything. And then I went through a really public breakup and it was really hard. And now I'm like trying to find that balance where I still want to share my life, because I think there's some things that are worth sharing.
Right, and it brings you joy. That's part of what you do.
It brings me joy. I really enjoy it, and it also connects with the audience.
Correct.
Like, if they know your life and everything,
you're authentic and
they're like, okay, she's struggling too, and she's doing this and that, and like they want to connect. They want to follow someone that they relate to. Yes, but at the same time, it's hard to know that when you make a mistake, because I make a lot of mistakes, and everyone
part of
does.
being human.
Everyone is going to have an opinion on it. So it's, I want to say that I've been able to create a really nice community where most people are nice and they understand that. Also, social media has changed. In the past, it used to be worse, and now people are kind of like understanding that.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's changing, but still there. Like, still people that think that because you're a public person, they are entitled to tell you their opinion and like criticize you and all that. So it's I'm getting there.
What would you say to a younger, maybe 20-year-old girl or 16, 17, highly impressionable young girl who is looking at social media, scrolling through social media, comes across your page? Like, what kind of message do you want to ensure that those girls are getting from your social media?
Spend the least amount of time on your social media and spend the most amount of time out there doing things,
Living.
Yeah, it's really easy to get influenced for all of us, not only an impressionable 17, 16-year-old, for everyone. So one thing that I would like to say to myself when I was 18 is like, make decisions before you ask opinions.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to say, like, I think I want to move to another country. What do you think I should do?
Yeah.
And then I don't know what I want to do. So I start asking opinions, and then
And they could be
I forget.
conflicting opinions.
And I forget what I wanted.
Because
Like,
everybody is gonna give you maybe an advice based on their own experience,
Yeah.
but you're the only one that is living
Exactly.
your experience.
And what do you see on social media? You don't really show your hard times, and when you're crying, most of the time you show a beautiful time and you show the highlights of your day and your
Correct.
trip and all that. So if I wanna live abroad and I go on TikTok, because I do that, like I'm gonna go to Mexico soon, and I went to TikTok and see 5 places you have to visit.
I
But
do
they
that
don't
too.
show you when you have to make a line for hours, or it was really hot and all that. So you have to really understand that they're showing the best moments of
Correct.
everything.
That's what
So
it is about.
that's why my advice is to spend the least amount of hours on social media and just outside actually living.
That's really good advice.
And not compare your life with what somebody else is
Yeah.
posting about their life, because that exact same thing, they're posting what they choose to, and if they're trying to create a happy place, they're not going to post the heartaches. They're not going to post the struggles. They want to post the happy moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Cristina, I love your message because I often think about my own daughters, and I think about how incredibly difficult. My older one is 12 and she's starting that tween and teen stage in her life, and I think about how hard it must be for a young girl nowadays growing up, going on social media and the social pressures, right?
Yeah.
And having to live up to, like, oh, I want to look like that. And
Yeah, because when I was 12, 14, I could only compare myself to my
your peers.
So they went to the same school as
Yeah.
me. They kind of have the same neighborhood, the same kind of like the same social status. Now you compare yourself with people all over the world, with everything. Like, it's hard. It's gotta be really hard.
And then again, you compare to the version that they're choosing to portray in their social
Exactly.
media, which is their idol self, not the reality.
Yeah.
They're not gonna post when they wake up in the morning con el moño virado, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like full
Yeah,
glam.
perfect. Everything.
Especially at that age, you know,
Yeah.
like it's really hard. So I have now a timer on my social media. I don't spend more than 2 hours a day on Instagram. Sometimes I do, but I try to limit my own self, because it also feeds me too much information, and I want to be able to create. If you spend 4 hours a day consuming only social media, not counting books that you're reading, TV, Netflix that you're watching, or anything else, like, how are you going to create if you're constantly consuming?
Right.
And where is your inspiration coming from?
Right.
It's
It's like the information is being fed to
exactly,
you.
and then you end up like, oh, I'm watching a reel. How can I do it myself? And instead of creating something new, you're copying someone else.
Correct.
So spend as much time doing something else that has nothing to do with consuming content. That way, you're gonna get inspired and you're gonna be able to do other things.
Yeah. And with your journey, Lisa mentioned you have almost 500,000 followers on your social media. How, in your inner circle or your family, how do they see you as the same person? Has anything changed?
Well, I've been on social media for a long time, so it's normal now for them. They expect me to, like, here's the thing, I don't create content when I'm with people. I'm shy like that. Like, if I'm with my family, I do, like, it's like a task. Like, okay, I have to say that I'm doing this and that, and then I put my phone away. Like, I try to spend time with my friends and my family and be present.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty normal. I've been on those numbers for a long time, so it's part of my
Pretty
life.
cool. Pretty awesome.
I have a question about your weight loss. Do you find, and we actually brought this up earlier, do you find that people treat you differently after having lost the weight? And so that our listeners know, you lost, did you tell me it was
about 30 pounds,
30 pounds.
They treat me differently. It's hard to say because when I started losing weight in my whole journey, also my social media started growing. So I people started recognizing me on the streets and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
it's fun. It's fun. It's also a little scary when you're trying to not be out there.
Right.
It's not dramatic also, but I guess they do treat you differently but more than the weight loss is your confidence, because I started dressing differently. I started like not necessarily sexier, but different. Like for me, dressing up is like an adventure every morning.
Yeah.
Like I open my closet, I'm like, oh, how do I feel today? And even if I'm staying at home, I want to wear something comfortable. I wear really cool joggers and a really cool crop top, and I wear shoes in my house because if they match, I want to wear them. So the whole weight loss came with a lot of self-confidence and wanting to feel pretty and sexy and confidence and nice.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I want to feel sexy.
Yeah.
I relate to it. Yeah. I relate to it because of the same thing. There's days that I wake up, I'm feeling lazy. I don't want to do my makeup. I'm like, okay, I don't care. I'm going to wear baggy clothes. I'm going to whatever. And I don't care what people think, but because I don't feel that confident.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go straight to, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to get what I need and then I'm out. But then when I have my hair done, my makeup done, the outfit, I am like a totally different
it's the energy.
person.
So is that a tip? Would you say that that's one of your tips
100%.
for the listeners?
I always tell to my girls on my groups and all that dress up. Go to the gym. Go get yourself a cute outfit. There's nothing that gives you more power to work out than a cute outfit to work out, and get yourself a bottle that matches your outfit, and your underwear has to be cute. It's all part of a game. It's gonna help you feel better.
But what if you don't want the attention? Like, yes, you like to stand out, but
you don't have to be sexy.
You don't wanna.
You don't have to be sexy. Sometimes I go to the gym and I have this like really big oversized sweater that I wear. It's a hoodie and it's baggy and it's big and it's cool. It's like has colors and all that. So you don't have to be sexy, but you have to wear something that makes you happy.
Okay.
Whatever it is that makes you happy. If you don't want to be sexy, you don't want to be seen, something that makes you feel like yourself.
Okay.
I love that. I love that. Oh, I love your vibe, your message. Yeah, we have girl crush on.
I want to have like, ooh, girl.
Yeah,
I love what you're doing. And I'm sure that you've helped a lot of women and men also, I bet, to become this higher refined person of themselves and build that self-confidence. And it's something that
it's a journey. And for me it has been my own experimentation and who am I through all my phases. And there has been like really hard times where I'm like, who am I? When I had to move out of my house, I remember like, now I'm wearing animal print, which is something I've worn for a long time. And when I went through this like life crisis and I had to move out, I had this section of my closet that had like X amount of animal print things. And I'm like, do I still want to wear animal print? Like, should I leave this here or I'm going to bring it with me? I brought it with me and it took me, I don't know, like a few weeks to decide to like go back to that. There's a lot of things that I stopped doing for some time and then I miss them and I start doing them again. Some things that I just stopped doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're afraid of trying new things or to stop doing things that we have done forever because that's my identity or that's who I am. I'm a person that always goes to the gym. Well, maybe try go to a dancing class or
you're constantly
climbing
evolving.
a wall or something.
Would you agree that the journey of self-exploration is lifelong?
Of course. One thing that I learned when I went to health coach school, is that life is a long time. And I've always heard like life is fast and it's over really quick and time passes fast.
And you only get this one.
Exactly, but then like we're supposed to live, if we're healthy, we live until we're 100. That means I'm not even halfway there. So I better just change things up a little bit, because if I'm gonna be doing the same thing for 100 years, that's boring.
Yeah.
So right now I like going to the gym, I like going to the beach, and I like singing in the shower, whatever, and dressing in a minimal print. But maybe in 10 years I wanna wear black, and I wanna be in a cave, and I wanna listen to country music. And then 5 years later, I don't wanna cook anymore. And like, give yourself permission to try new things. And like,
Give yourself permission to try new
Yeah.
things. Awesome. I love that. I love that. I love that. And I think for anybody listening right now that also might be going through a separation, that one tip that you just said could be so helpful.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to start a new chapter.
Yeah.
To try new things.
identity.
Yeah, because and we've talked about this in past episodes, when you end a relationship, you have to grieve that relationship.
Yes.
It's over.
Yeah.
You have to grieve, you have to go through it, but also find yourself.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do for yourself? How are you going to
yeah, and you have to explore what's out there. Like, start going to classes of things that you have never done before, like create a new community. Like, when you separate, you lose a lot of things, but you also gain a lot of time and opportunities. So use the opportunity to do new things and create new friends, and get into a pottery class, and I don't know, like, go kayaking, whatever it
yourself
is.
out there.
Put yourself out there, not necessarily looking for a partner, but trying to meet new people, because you're gonna learn new things.
And that also boosts up your self-confidence. So it's
Yes.
like a circle. Like, okay,
And then
I did
maybe
this
you
little
find a new
thing
hobby
today.
that you didn't know you had. Like, maybe you become the next, I don't know, world champion of kayaking, whatever it is.
What's interesting is that I love that you just said that we work with seniors.
Okay.
And whenever I have a new person moving in, I always tell them, try everything. Try all the activities that are offered, because you never know if you're going to find now something that you like. Something, maybe you are going to like arts and crafts or jewelry making or whatever it is. So even at that age.
Yes, 100%. My dad is 70 something, I can't remember right now, and he recently started paddling.
Oh, that's
And he goes outside in the community where he lives, and he has friends in the community, and then every year in Christmas they build like a train with mountains, like kind of like a pesebre, like
Un bailecito.
and it's he didn't know any of these people when he moved in, and now he does every year create, like, he build these things with his new friends and all. Like, you're never too old. Like, I hear that all the time. Am I too old to lose weight? Am I too old to change my life? No, you're not.
To fall in love.
Never. You're never too old unless you're dead.
Yeah. Then that is too late.
Yeah, then it's too late. Exactly.
So just to recap a little bit, because everything I do see a little bit of a connection. First, take some time and the energy and the effort, and take a very small step. It doesn't have to be like a massive step, but take a small step, but take the step. Put yourself out there, and that automatically is going to build that self-confidence. Like, okay, I was able to do this. What's next? And little by little.
Yeah, next is discipline. Because I love being at home. For me, it's really hard to go out and do stuff, because I love being at home with my dogs and my cats. You have to be disciplined to remember that going out is going to be good for you. So if I got invited to an event, and I'm like, I am home, this is so good, watching Netflix or whatever, painting with my cats. But then you have to remember, I'm going to meet new people, and I'm gonna be out there.
It's gonna be maybe just 1 or 2 hours.
Exactly. And then when you're out there and you're meeting the people, and you come home, you're like, I'm so glad I did it.
Yes.
I made connections, and I made networking, and now I have a new friend.
Yeah.
Or I learned something new.
You're our new friend.
Yeah.
I want you to know. Of course.
There you go. And then, it's discipline. It's remember it's the little things, just like going to the gym.
Consistency.
Consistency is key. Make sure every week you do something for yourself that is out of the norm, and put yourself out there.
I love
Amen.
it. Amen to that. Oh, Cristina, we cannot thank you enough
Oh.
for sharing such a special messages, because you've shared so much with us that I know our listeners are going to take away so
Yeah.
many amazing
No, even
tips.
us.
Even us. I know. I wrote down, like, I have my little notes here.
And especially seeing you and your journey, and it's amazing what you're doing. I cannot wait to see what you're going to continue
Thank
doing.
you, girls. Thank you for the invite and for this podcast. It's so important for people to listen to this type of messages from everywhere in every type
Yeah.
of way possible. So, the more we talk about this, the more people we can help, and hopefully we can make a happier society.
Amen to that.
Amen. Guys, if you want to learn more about Cristina and her journey, you can follow her on Instagram at Cristina Pilo on Instagram. As for us, you can find us on Breaking Barriers, the podcast. And
Until next time, in the next episode, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, and follow with your close ones, your friends, and anybody that you think needs to listen. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye!